Hi everybody, this is Dr. Anderson and I am the subject matter expert for NR360 Infosystems in Healthcare. Wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you a little bit about your team assignments. And this is an assignment that involves researching a technology that you will be assigned as a team. There are two parts to this particular assignment. The first part will actually be due in week 2, and that is the team charter. I wanted to spend a few minutes first talking to you a little bit about that. But first, let me just go over a few brief things on how to locate the team charter and the other guidelines that are available to you in the course. So as you can see over here on the left-hand side of the screen, that is our course home, and mine may look a little bit different than yours, but basically the course home is going to house all of the weekly units that you can see here. And just what you really need to do is to click around and explore a bit whenever you are in the course home to see exactly what it has to offer. So when you go into the Unit 1, and you want to click on the assignments link that is there. Under the assignments link, you're going to find all of the reading assignments, what we're talking about in the discussions, and also about your RUAs. This one is the Week Hand But Dare We assignment, which is due in Unit 3. It's our first RUA that's due. And then our second one is the technology presentation, which again is a team assignment, which will be due in Unit 6. However, the team charter is the first document that will be due, and this is a mandatory but no point value assignment. And I will get to that in just a little bit. So whenever you want to pull up a guideline, you can go under each of the units under the assignments icon or link, and you want to click on the presentation. That will, of course, pull a Word document up, and presto, you've got the team presentation charter. So this document is basically to give you a very brief overview of what the team charter is about and what it means to participate as part of a team. It's important for you to note that everybody on the team, everybody, needs to submit this team charter to their individual drop boxes by the end of Unit 2, which is Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure that you have read all of these guidelines, followed the instructions, and placed your initials and date into the grid that I'm going to show you here in a minute. What we do also ask is for the team leader to fill out the completed document, and that doesn't mean any of the strengths and weaknesses of the team, but it's going to be related more to how you have divided up the work, the due dates, etc., etc. And I'll show you that also in a minute. But I wanted to also point out that anyone that does not submit this document to their individual Dropbox could indeed receive a 0 grade for the entire assignment. Even though there isn't any point values assigned to this, it is mandatory. And so don't be alarmed because there is a 0 put in the grade book when I do review it. So that doesn't mean that you that you got a 0. That's the only time that a 0 grade is going to be good in your eyes. That means that I have seen that you have submitted this and all is cool. Okay. So a few things that I wanted to point out, because the dynamics of the group project can be very, very different for some people if it's the first time you've experienced this. Everybody has a different thought on how things are done, but this is also a prelude to what you will experience in the world of healthcare, because when you're working with groups of people, and you see that now even in your classes, or if you have family issues, or things that go on in your workplace, that everybody has their own thoughts and ideas on how the way things should be handled. And so this is going to be no different. But what I would like to really stress to you is that you all need to be participating equally in this assignment. It doesn't mean that because it's a team assignment that you can lag back and let everybody else do the work. because believe me, they will let me know if someone is not participating. And if they don't, well, that's really a shame because I don't really condone that. But if nobody wants to speak up, that's also an important part of being a nurse when you know something is wrong to be able to speak up and talk about it. So everyone is expected to participate equally. You will need to determine who the team leader of your team will be because that individual does have a few extra responsibilities, and that will be to turn the project in on time, week 6 when it's due, as well as a second document, which is a Word document that contains all of the speaker notes from all of the slides. This presentation does go through Turnitin, and the reason for one individual having to submit it is if 2 people or more from one team submit the same assignment, then your Turnitin score is going to be very high. In that situation, it is very difficult for me to assess what the true academic integrity of this project is, and you may receive a 0 or a greatly reduced grade on the assignment if this happens. So please don't make that mistake. It has happened in the past. The other thing that I wanted to point out is if you have a team member that is not participating, not responsive, not submitting work when everybody agreed it would be due, what I am asking of the team is to draft a letter or an email that addresses all of the specifics very professionally. I don't want to see a hair-pulling, finger-pointing hullabaloo. I really just want facts, and send that to this individual on your team and copy me or your faculty on that email as well. That will oftentimes help to motivate people, and it also alerts me to the problem so that I can keep a closer eye on things. So again, I don't want any kind of accusatory type of conversations going on. It just really needs to be factual, professional, and respectful. So the other piece of this assignment is the communication piece, and I know that I have alluded to it several times, but because communication is so essential in healthcare, this is also a really great assignment to be able to experience what it's like to communicate with others, because in some of our courses, not all students are from the same campus, so it gives you an opportunity to get to know and to work with other students from other campuses, or maybe a student on your own campus that you didn't know previously. Communication is essential, and we all know that when bad things happen in healthcare, that a lot of the time that this breaks down to the fact that there was some type of a communication breakdown. And so that is the other foundational thought for having a group assignment. So for your personal submission of this assignment, let me just emphasize that once again. Every team member will submit this document at the end of week 2. This is the portion that every individual member of the team is responsible for right here. There's team member skill inventory. You are expected to put your name, talk about your strengths or what you can contribute to the team, as well as your areas for development. Now, this can be kept private. Not everybody wants everybody to know what they feel are maybe areas that they need to work on. So that piece of it you can keep private. Team leaders, you can just list team members' names here on the document so that we have everybody's names. And for your personal submission, make sure that you are initialing and dating, that you have read and understand all of the instructions in this document. That to me means that you have indeed read this document, so that when the time comes that there's an issue, I can say, well, you know, it was in the team charter and you indicated that you understood and had read everything in week 1. The next part of the team charter will be more of what I want to see the team leader submitting to the team collaboration area of the course. And just so that there's no confusion about what that is, let's go back here to the course home. And if you go all the way to the bottom under Unit 8, you're going to see the team collaboration area. Every team which is designated by a color, your team will post only in your particular discussion area. Someone will need to start the thread. You start that by clicking respond, and boom, there you go. Introduce yourself, talk about the thoughts you have on the completion of the assignment, etc. That is what this area of the course is for, along with the fact that it's a documentation process. If you've got, 4 out of your 5 team members have been very diligent and responsive and communicating through this, but number 5 has yet to respond and it's now week 4, then that's a problem and we need to know about it. This will also show me that, okay, I can see what you mean here. Just also keep in mind that some students prefer to communicate via email, via text message. I've had students do Google Docs. They go in there and create the assignment, and they can all add things in there. So there's a lot of different ways to communicate, but when you're having problems with someone, I will need to see evidence of that. So going back to the team charter once again, we need for you as a team, and this is where the team part comes in, you're going to be talking about what you plan to do every week. And this is not an assignment that should be left until the end of week 5 or the middle of week 6 to get started, because it does require some thought and research. Everybody should have a map of how things should proceed. And what do we need from team member A on what date and when it's what it's going to be. So everything would be documented in all of these this little grids here. So just again, we talk a little bit about conflict management in this document. What are the team goals? And then create a project plan at the end. So the other thing I wanted to emphasize here is the team leader does have some additional responsibilities outside of the other members, and this may include, but it doesn't have to, it may include the compilation and construction of the PowerPoint itself. And a lot of that goes, it takes a lot of time to create a PowerPoint and make it look good, because you don't want white slides with black lettering. You need some color to keeps it interesting for your audience. The other thing is everything that you turn into your team leader for as a part of your final components of the project, make sure they are paraphrased properly, make sure that they are cited correctly, they have been spell checked, and that you have appropriate resources in APA citation. In other words, they should not have to be cleaning up after you. You should be putting forth your best work for the team leader. No ifs, ands, or buts. And again, this project does go through Turnitin. Anybody that has been found to be plagiarizing will suffer the consequences. There's just no leniency for that at all. So just keep that in mind. Your best work should be put into this particular presentation and given to your team leaders so they don't have to correct all of your errors. The next document that I wanted to show you is the guidelines, and they are in the assignment link just as the team charter was. The document itself is pretty lengthy, but make sure that you review this as well. It talks about our course outcomes. You will be assigned to teams and you will be assigned a topic. We do not take requests. We do not change teams after the fact. The other piece that I wanted to mention very briefly is that things change during 8 weeks, and I've had teams that started out as a group of 5, and due to students dropping the course or having other issues that have come up during the session, they have ended up in as a team of 2 or 3. And no, that doesn't mean that you do any